Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. I apologize for being a little bit late on the live. I had a friend I have a friend who just graduated from college, and I got to watch the live. Super duper excited. And of course, I'm like an at home tourist, so I'm sitting here filming my computer and everything. I didn't just want to see her name float by. She's been on a very long journey, and there have been some down times, there's been some good times, but all in all, she did it, and I am so super proud of her. So, no matter, I don't like to put the term no matter what age you are, but no matter what age you are, do your thing, go out there, I don't know if we just had thunder or somebody slamming a door, but either way, it is raining outside, and I am super duper excited. So let's get going. We are on I'm not doing days. We're on number 12 of Self-Love December. Today is Tuesday Thoughts. So, let's just get rolling. Okay, so I guess no cards really want to come out. I'm just gonna get cracking here. There is one that did come out. I am at peace with my past. I am at peace with my past. This is actually really perfect, and the only reason I say this is really perfect is because today's topic, do I use a lot of negative self-talk? That's a really good one. Do I use a lot of negative self-talk? It's Self-Love December, okay? So the goal is to really kind of push us into the new year feeling good about ourselves, feeling great about ourselves, and having this toolbox of things that we can do so that we're not constantly putting ourselves down, or we're kind of ahead of our mental game in a way. And you don't have to have a dinged up mental health to be ahead of your mental game. The thing is, a lot of times we tend to think, what am I trying to say? We think things out loud. And when we think things out loud, sometimes we tend to say bad things about ourselves. We have negative self-talk, and we don't even realize we have the negative self-talk. And I think part of that comes from needing to be at peace with your past. This is the perfect card. This is the only card that came out this morning, but I almost didn't choose this deck today. And something said, Shelly Marie, do it. So I followed my intuitive thoughts and did it. I'm trying to be better at that. I'm trying harder to trust my spidey instincts and, kind of go with the flow. I also pulled some cards today that I think will help with, the question, do I use a lot of negative self-talk? I do. In fact, I had a conversation with a friend last night where we were talking about just this thing. And what we were kind of really exploring was how a lot of times we'll say something to kind of beat people to the punch. Now, when we're growing up, people can be mean. Okay? And so it kind of puts us in a bad habit of just trying to make fun of ourselves before somebody else can make fun of us. Or maybe we're not comfortable, with maybe the way we look, or maybe we're feeling insecure about a certain situation. Whatever the case, there are a lot of different scenarios that can, really kind of sum up, the negative self-talk, and a lot of times I don't think people even think about that. I mean, older sibling and I will sometimes have conversations, and she'll literally sit there and she'll say something. She's like, well, that was stupid of me. Well, okay, so that's just a common term we throw out there, all right? And, but it's one thing to say, well, that was stupid of me to say, if it's something bad. But it's like when you start putting yourself down, maybe it's time to just shift to the positive talk. I always like to beat people to the punch about my weight, okay? It's not something I'm comfortable with. It's not something, and I mean physically comfortable with, health-wise. It's hard, okay? I'm not going to lie, it's hard. But I've also found the value of being the size I'm at because I found a way to love myself. And I didn't do that when I was, much smaller. And so it's really kind of worked its magic for me But I also know that I need to get healthy because of my heart, which is what I'm saying is like not physically comfortable for me. And I mean, like I said, in the previous perspectives, she's ticking fine. The floof is doing great. But she's given so much to me that I want to give back. And so I know that at some point I really got to buckle down and take this seriously. And a lot of times fear gets in my way. And as we're doing this, I'm realizing now, because I told you guys, a lot of times I'm going right through this with you in real time, discovering things about myself. The negative self-talk has been a lot more recently. And I think a lot of times we put too much pressure on ourselves of what we think other people think. You know, I see comments on Facebook where people are like, oh yeah, well, you know, they're complaining about each other, or they're sitting there saying, you know, well, what goes around comes around. When this kind of stuff happens, you know, walk away from what does not serve you and what does not serve your positivity. Don't worry about what other people are going to say. If you are staying friends with somebody on social media simply based on the fact that you are worried that they're going to say something behind your back, you're only hurting yourself because you're just constantly waiting for something. And so you're putting this out there. You're putting this energy out there, and nothing is going to get healed. Nothing is going to fix itself. Good morning, Sammy. And so when it comes to this kind of stuff, just step back and walk away. You know, oh, here you go. Forgiveness means you are no longer willing to hurt yourself by carrying old toxic anger. Okay, that was a message. It just popped down in my notifications. You have to forgive the past. Even if you feel like it doesn't deserve it, you have to forgive the past. The past is behind you. Like my mother always told me, and I still feel her saying to me all the time, don't look back, you're not going that way. Okay? And as older sibling likes to add, the only time you should look back is to see how far you've come. But don't look so far back that you forget to look forward again. We measure our progress in anything that we do by how far we've come. And so that's why sometimes we look back. But a lot of times people will look back and they get stuck. They get trapped in this old thinking because they don't know how to move forward. Because maybe something, well, I thought I'd be farther, you know, in my life by now. Or I thought that I'd be here in my life by now. Let me tell you, when I was 15 years old, I had everything planned out. When I was 10 years old, I had everything planned out. None of it happened. None of it happened. And I used to beat myself up for that until I realized when I did look back that even though I went exactly nowhere that I had intended to go, there are still opportunities for me to go where I do want to go. But I mean, personal wise, you know, personal life wise, nothing came to pass that I had hoped for. I came close. I came close on different occasions, on different things and situations, but none of it came to pass. And so I beat myself up for it. But as we speak now, I realize life is going, you can make plans, but life is going to make whatever is going to happen to you. I know there's a quote about that somewhere, and I'm sure Sammy or older sibling is going to come up with it. But, what was it like? Something like life happens while you're busy making plans or something like that. But it's true. You know, if you set things in stone, like when it comes to school or it comes to planning certain things, that's fine. But when it comes to our personal lives, a lot of times what we plan isn't exactly what's going to happen. For some people it does, and that's great. But not everybody has that. And so for those of you who haven't had that, don't worry about it. You are exactly where you are meant to be. You are in the position that you are in. Oh, okay, so Sammy thinks John Lennon said it, but life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. I was close. So thank you, Sammy. See, I knew somebody would come up with it. But yeah. If you're one of those people who made plans and everything happened in a whole different direction, don't worry about it. Okay? Don't beat yourself up for it. It's not worth it. It really isn't. Because all you're doing is you're holding yourself back. You're creating more negative self-talk. And, okay, and older sibling came up with it too. So thank you both. And they both validated each other that it was John Lennon. Very profound. Very profound. Not my favorite Beatle. But I do like the whole of the Beatles. So, you know. But, anyway. I guess what I'm trying to say is the first thing you need to do is stop and ask yourself, do I use a lot of negative self-talk? But yeah, Sammy did catch what I said. She says, not my favorite either, but I do love them. I love them all. I love them all. But you know, it's the Beatles. We all have our favorite, right? I know. So we all have our favorites. As I mentioned, today is number 12 in Self-Love December. And, you know, as we're heading towards the middle of Self-Love December, we're really going to start hitting on different subjects. They're going to teeter back and forth. Some are going to be do this, some are going to be do that. Some are going to really make you stop and think. But I have some affirmations that I wrote, and I also pulled some affirmator cards, which I thought would be helpful. And I'm going to start with these first, and then I'll get to the affirmations. But again, the first thing I want you to ask yourself is, do I use a lot of negative self-talk? And be honest with yourself. I mean, I am straight up telling you, I use a lot of negative self-talk. You know, I mean, I know that a lot of times we'll put out these things, just these passing comments like, oh, I'm an idiot, or oh, I'm stupid. And I'm not going to say anything about those things because, you know, a lot of times they're just throwaway comments. But be careful with throwaway comments. Okay? Or that was dumb. I do that a lot. That was dumb. But you know what? Again, to me, those are throwaway comments. But be careful with where your energy is at when you're saying that. All right? If you read a lot of books and you believe in law of attraction or manifestation stuff, the universe does not have a sense of humor. And it will. Well, that's what they say. The universe does not have a sense of humor. I think it does. And, you know, you might start creating situations that continually make you say these things. But what I'm focusing more on when it comes to the negative self-talk is, do you constantly call yourself stupid? Do you constantly call yourself fat? Do you constantly call yourself just no good, worthless, you know, just bad things, negative things? You know, there can even be, yes, see, exactly. It's exactly what T said. She says, yes, because if you say it enough or hear it enough, you will tend to believe it. And that's the truth. That's why when I say, you know, that, you know, that was dumb or whatever, be careful with the energy you put behind it. If it's a throwaway comment, it's a throwaway comment. But don't put yourself down all the time when saying that. Just like, well, that could have, I mean, I've even actually tried to kind of switch the things I say. Like, you know, sometimes if I do something dumb, I'll just, instead of saying that was dumb, I'm just like, well, that went sideways fast. And I just kind of try to laugh it off. Or that didn't turn out as I expected it to. Good morning, Frey. So this is what I mean by, do you use a lot of negative self-talk? All right? Catch yourself. Because again, it's just like T put in the comments. The more you say it, the more you tend to believe it. And, you know, we all deserve to be happy. We all deserve to vibe at this super high, you know, in this super high place. And if you don't believe that you deserve to vibe in the super high place, it's time to start thinking about why you feel this way. What can you do to improve the positivity talk for yourself? What can you do to improve, you know, how you feel about yourself and how you treat yourself? Don't put yourself down. You know, a lot of us have had things in our past that make us feel like shit. Okay, straight out. You know, there's no way to color code that. There's no pretty way to say that. They do. Or people who have made us feel this way. You know, I've spoken about my trauma in the past, and I've spoken about how I just felt like I was never worth anything. And then I had these two personalities, the child who hid the secret and the child who was just trying to live a normal life. And that messed me up even more. Okay, so when bad things happen, you really have to get to the core of things. This is why I'm glad shadow work came up early in this process. I don't think later down the road would have been helpful, because I do like to refer back to them. You know, I believe shadow work was number 9 and number 10. So they really can see you through to being more positive. I'm proof, okay? I may not be the most positive, straight up positive person right now, but I'm getting there, and I'm realizing that I deserve a lot of good things in my life, that I deserve to be happy, that I deserve to have this freedom from, you know, all these chains that used to shackle me. You know, I don't deserve to live in the sea of misery, and, you know, with constant visits to the island of overthinking. Where we all deserve to live is in the ocean of bliss, where even when bad things happen, we have the tools to handle it. We have the tools to get through it. You feel it, you heal it, you let it go. And if you have to, you feel it, you heal it, you forgive it, and you let it go. Forgiveness does not let somebody off the hook that wronged you. It lets you off the hook, because you're no longer giving them your power by being upset with how they were. There are some bad people in this world, okay? There are some bad people in this world. And I know sometimes it's hard to forgive them. And if, you know, you don't want to forgive them, then take your power back anyways. There are a lot of different ways to take your power back. Don't give them any more power than you've already given them, because you deserve to use that strength and that energy for yourself. That's your energy, and it is all yours, and you deserve to do whatever the heck you want with it. All right, so I shuffled these last night, so I know which ones they were, but I've literally forgotten which cards I pulled, but that's why I did it the night before. So hopefully they're in the order they need to be in. Number 1, harmony. Aw, see, look, it's like the two sides I was just talking about. I know in my heart that when something is right, it feels easy and breezy, even though that sounds cheesy. Okay, just as a side note, for anybody who's new, the affirmator cards have a touch of sarcasm and goofiness and levity about them. They hit the message home while also bringing some joy to the message, okay? And some funniness and literally cheesiness to the message. So I know in my heart that when something is right, it feels easy and breezy, even though that sounds cheesy. With this in mind, I banish all stress, insecurity, and tedious work from my relationships. Then I invite harmonious relationships into my life and let them show up on their own time. Easy breezy things are rarely punctual, which means they come to you when they're meant to come to you. You cannot snap your fingers and say, hey, be there. They come to you when they come to you, okay? So walk away from toxic things and bring harmony into your life. Like I said earlier in this perspective, if you are remaining, you know, friends or following someone on social media that just brings down your vibe, okay? And I'm referring actually to Facebook. Facebook is just a cesspool of potential negativity. And I say potential because I keep my page very, very closed down. I only accept people who I know or have met online in other groups, okay? And if I don't know you, you're not getting in, okay? You have to get to know me. You can messenger me and try to get to know me, but it's not meant to be mean. It's meant to keep my page safe for my own self. You know, I'm everywhere else on social media, but this is my little place. This is my little space in this world. And, you know, sometimes there are negative posts out there. Sometimes there are people who just kind of sit and stew in their negativity and don't even realize it. And, you know, unless they want help, you can't really do much for them. Except you can keep doing these. This is why I keep doing these things. Hopefully somebody out there who needs to see it sees it. But this is also why I share it across the board. So, again, if you have somebody that does not resonate with you, you either need to talk to them, and if they won't listen, then walk away. Okay? If there is nothing left in that relationship that has anything to hold on to except negativity, it's time to walk away. Or maybe just unfollow them for a while. And by that I mean on Facebook you can follow people, or you can put your star, the closest people. If you are just staying friends with somebody because you want to know what they're saying about you behind your back, then you're only shooting yourself in the foot. Okay? Because you're just letting their negativity and their toxicity get to you. And you're essentially giving them your power because you keep reacting to it. I have had to walk away from people that I didn't know super well, but I knew well enough. But they didn't add anything to my life. They didn't add any positivity. Everything was negative. And it's just, you try and you try, but sometimes you just got to cut the cord. And I know it's hard. I know it's scary and it's freaky and it sucks. It sucks big time, especially when you feel like they used to be somebody so important in your life. But let's see. Ooh, I like this one. Gratitude. Gratitude is one of my favorite things. Today I'm grateful, excuse me, for a clear throat. Today I'm grateful for all the little things. Even when the big things suck, there are always plenty of little things I can be at least a little grateful for. I'll read this again. Like hot showers and music, and the fact that humans invented an internet, and I'm allowed to use it whenever I want to, using fingers and thumbs that do whatever I think them to do at any given moment. Okay, so again, today I'm grateful for all the little things. Even when the big things suck, there are always plenty of things I can be at least a little grateful for, like hot showers and music. And the fact that humans invented an internet, and I'm allowed to use it whenever I want to, using fingers and thumbs that do whatever I think them to do at any given moment. Gratitude is amazing. The little things are amazing. Believe it or not, the little things always have meant more to me than the big things. I mean, the big things are great. Grand gestures are always lovely. But it's the little things that we hold on to, like someone bringing you a single flower. Every so often I would come to my desk and there'd be a flower sitting on my desk. And it turns out it was from one of my, I would call my millennials my kids, okay? It would come from one of my youngins in the office. And they would always be so giggly when I would put them in water and keep them on my desk. I don't know why they would get all giggly, but they're like, oh, you have my flower out. And it's like, of course, it's beautiful. It adds life to my desk. I'm going to keep it here as long as I can until it dies. But it was the little things. And it's not so much the little things as much as it is someone stopped to think about you. So a lot of times, and if little things are the things that come from you, it's okay too, because you are stopping to think about you. You are making yourself a priority for a moment. And rightly so. The number one key to self-love is remembering that you also need self-care. Okay? Self-respect, self-worth. Those all come from self-care. It's not just caring about your physical self. It's caring about your mental self. All right? And like I said, you don't need a dinged up mental health to have, a messed up noodle. All right? People go through things. People go through good things and bad things. Then people think, well, my thing isn't as bad as so-and-so's thing. So they invalidate their feelings. And I talked about this the other day. Do not invalidate your feelings. I did that over the weekend, actually, and a friend reminded me who was watching The Perspective, said, you know what? Didn't you just tell us not to invalidate your feelings? Your feelings are valid. And I was like, you're right. So see, even I slip up, trip up, and fall flat on my face. But the important thing is to get up where you've fallen. Stand up right where you've fallen. Don't go crawling, trying to figure something out. Just get up right where you've fallen and keep moving forward. All right. Number 3, worthiness. See this face? That's showing you that I forgot which cards I pulled yesterday. I think I really don't try to put much more attention into it after I do it because I like to be surprised. Okay, I like to surprise myself. So these are the little things. I picked these, but I couldn't remember what order they were in because I shuffled them, or I didn't know what order they were in because I shuffled them, and I had made myself not remember because I wanted this to mean something. The perspective is about just kind of flying off the cuff. It's about being in the moment together. All right. So, worthiness. I am worthy of the ultimate happiness. I deserve and accept it, and damn it, I'm not going to feel guilty about it when I get it. Guilt is not invited to my happiness party. I won't even tell him where it is. If he asks about it, I'll be like, no, I think you're thinking of something else, and then I'll run away very quickly. That sounds like me when people talk to me. Gotta go. Oh, I really need to have more self-confidence and self-esteem. But, again, I am worthy. I want people to repeat that. I am worthy of the ultimate happiness. Happiness is what you choose it to be. Okay? If something does not bring you joy, you have to try to figure out why. And you have to try to figure out, is this something that I can make better? Is it something that I'm doing that's causing this? I tend to get in my way of my happiness all the time because I don't feel I've deserved it. But as I'm doing these, and as I've been doing the perspective for the last year and a half, I have come to realize that I deserve to be just as happy as anybody else. You know, I deserve that joy in my life. We all deserve that joy in your life. Happiness is your divine birthright. Okay? Happiness is your divine birthright. To steal it throughout the course of your life, don't let them. Because it is yours. It was given to you the day you were born. And you need to choose whether or not you want to open that gift up, or if you want to just keep it wrapped in the corner. I suggest opening it back up. Because again, you are worthy of the ultimate happiness. All right? So, and remember, I deserve and accept it, and damn it, I'm not going to feel guilty about it when I get it. Don't feel bad about being happy. Don't feel good about having good things and amazing things. Life happens to us. And if something good is happening to you, embrace it, appreciate it. Don't feel bad because you have something somebody else doesn't have. If it bothers you that much, then help them attain it. Help them get there. Help them get it. But don't feel bad about your happiness. Don't feel bad about the wonderful things that you have in your life. Because the more you start to feel bad about it, you will lose it. You will lose it. If you are choke holding something in your life because you are afraid it's going to go away, it will eventually go away because you're putting it out there. You are putting out lack instead of abundance. And abundance isn't always about, prosperity and finances and stuff. Abundance is having just this complete feeling of all kinds of good things. It's abundant. It's an abundant behavior. Okay? You have an abundance of happiness. You have an abundance of joy, abundance of love. Focus on the good stuff so you don't lose it in the long run. Enjoy it while you have it. And as you're enjoying it, don't worry about what you think could happen, because chances are it's never going to. All right? We all like to worry. Worry's a crutch. It's a crutch for me. But I'm throwing away the crutch because I'm tired of limping through life. All right? I'm tired of, giving my power to things that don't deserve my power. My power deserves to be with me. My power deserves to be wielded like the awesome person that I am. There, I said it. Okay? I mean, that was not easy. But that's what we need to do. We need to convince ourselves that we're lovable. We need to convince ourselves that we can love ourselves, because that's what's so important. That's what gets rid of our negative self-talk. Okay? So the last card. No judgment. No judgment. Live in Joyville. Okay? I know they're backwards, but live in Joyville. Oh, see? It even says it. Welcome to Joyville. No judgment. I release myself from any and all judgments. I find my inner critic, call it into my office, and tell it to take a vacation. As it leaves the room, I let out a sigh and begin to enjoy the joy of simply being. Who hired that guy anyway? Yeah, fire your inner critic. All right, that's another area where shadow work comes in. Fire your inner critic. But yeah, call it into your office and tell it to take a vacation. Just straight up fire it. But if you want to send it on a vacation first, that's fine, just so you can get used to it not being there. But those are ways to kind of combat self-negative talk. Those are some of the ways to combat just how we treat ourselves. I mean, would you talk to somebody you love and care about the way you talk to yourself? And if the answer is no, then you need to figure out how to bring yourself back into the positive. Okay? Would you talk to your child the way you talk to yourself? Or a grandchild, or a nephew, or a niece? No, right? If you are saying things to yourself that feel negative, you have to ask yourself, and this is the best exercise. If you are not sure if what you're saying would be considered negative to yourself, say to yourself, would I say this to somebody else? Would I say this to a child, an impressionable child? And if your answer is no, then you need to ask yourself, you need to take a step back, look at the bigger picture and say, how can I stop talking negative about myself? How can I be more positive? Because I deserve positive self-talk. Okay, so here's some affirmations. Loving others is easy when I love and accept myself. Yeah, loving others is easy when you love and accept yourself. And there's a reason why. Because you don't have the insecurities and you're not pushing people away. You're not sitting there going, well, what if this happens? Well, you know what? Sometimes that, whatever that is, does happen. It has happened to me. Okay? Several times. And, but I didn't love myself enough to move on. So I stayed with it longer than I should have. I stayed with situations longer than I should have. And a lot of times I get it. A lot of times it's a lot harder to leave than just a regular thing, regular situation. So I understand that, and I understand how scary and confusing that can be. And I can't give advice on that because that is a personal choice for a lot of people. And it is a personal decision that people have to make on how they want to move forward. But in just across the board regular things, in my previous relationships, I had been cheated on several times. And I started questioning myself. Was it me? Did I do something? And so my negative self-talk grew even more because I was certain that I just wasn't good enough. Just turns out that's how they were. And I had it on good authority, and I'm not tooting my own horn here, but I had it on good authority that post these two relationships, one longer than the other, that they felt bad for what they'd done. They felt bad for how they treated me. And they just assumed that they could get away with anything because after the first or second time, I still was there. I know. So a lot of my negative self-talk came from there because I didn't value myself enough. I didn't trust that I deserved better because being with somebody was better than being alone. All right. Not that long ago, probably a month or two ago, I actually slipped up and mentioned how long I have been single. And I have to say, in that long span of time, I've always kind of really judged myself on that. But now it's just like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy myself. And if something wonderful comes along, something wonderful comes along. But I'll know now that I can embrace it, that I can be open to it, because I know that my self-love is growing every day. And because it's growing every day, I'm not going to be putting out this crazy vibe, wondering if, oh my God, is this going to work out? Is this, is it going to end tomorrow or what? I'm just going to live in the moment day by day and put everything that I have into it in each moment. Not like this whole, you meet somebody and you plan your entire life story together. No, it's like a book. Don't skip to the end, okay? Just read it page by page by page by page by page. That is stories. That is a relationship. A relationship is starting the book at the beginning. You read the introduction, you read the preface, or the preface then the introduction, or whichever comes first. I can't remember. You have the title, written by us, whoever us is, and just go chapter by chapter, page by page. Don't even go chapter by chapter. Just go page by page and see how it works out. See how it unfurls. Good morning, Shannon. So, number 2, every thought I think is creating my future. I have a friend who has had a lot of health problems. And every time something gets fixed, something else seems to go wrong. Well, it turns out, if you really kind of watch the conversation, there's always, at least once a week, or every other week, you hear this, what else is going to go wrong? Don't ask that. Please do not ask that. When you have a bad situation happening, don't ask yourself, well, geez, great, what else can go wrong? Because guess what you just put out to the world? Guess what energy you just put out there? You literally just challenged everything. And it's going to say, oh, well, let me see what I can come up with. When that happens, just say, you know what? No, I'd like a pause and I'd like a redo on this. If you need to actually put it out in actual terms, just say, whoever your source is, I take that back. Please give me a redo on this so I can approach the subject with more kindness and love. Okay? That is, and you better do it quick, because I am telling you, I have done this in my life before. Even with work, I'd be like, oh my God, it's like, can I get more work today? And I shit you not, I will look at my inbox at the time when I was working in the office, and it would be higher. It would be twice as high, because everything would come in, or everybody would be like, oh yeah, I just found this on my desk. Can you do this for me? Or, hey, I forgot I had to do this. Would you mind? It makes your head spin. Do not ask what can go wrong. Ask what can go right. Okay? Just say, geez, you know what? Just try to come up with something. Instead of sitting there and saying, well, God, what can go wrong now? Just say, you know what? What can go right in my life? Because I'd really like something to go right in my life. And don't ask it with the snarky behavior. Just say, just put it out there and say, I'm ready for something good now. I'm ready for something wonderful now. Put that out there. The next one, number 3. My heart is open. I allow my love to flow freely. I love myself. I love others, and others love me. If others love you, let them. Let them. It doesn't matter who a person is, what their status in the world is. If they want to be in your life as a friend, a family member, a loved one, whatever, let them be. You are worthy of any good thing that comes into your life. You are worthy of every good thing that comes into your life. Okay? And I'm talking to myself too. Okay, I'm literally looking myself in the eyes. But to everybody out there, you are worthy of all the wonderful things that life has to offer. You just have to open up your heart, open up your mind, and allow yourself to believe it. Okay, there is nothing too great out there that can't be yours. And yeah, you're probably like, oh, Shelly, stop talking out of your ass. That's negative self-talk. All right? It may not come to you in the way you expect it to. It may come to you differently. But just, if you have to, there's a lot of different sayings. She says it a lot in her book, Florence Scovel Shinn, this or something better. Or this or the equivalent. But remove the negative self-talk. Just replace it with positivity. We all know we're not always going to be positive. Yesterday, even though siblings said, I know you didn't feel that great about today's show, but it was a great show. I literally hit finish on this and it felt like a shit show. But the reason they went on and did it was because it was raw and it was honest and I was not in the best frame of mind. And that's how life is. If more people got honest with how, they struggle with certain things, a lot more people might actually come out and get the help they need because they won't be ashamed. I'm not ashamed. I have a dinged up mental health. I mean, I don't wear it like a shield or a badge of honor, but the way I handle it is my badge of honor. The way I try to be honest about it so that I can help other people not feel alone in their own stories. I share my story so others don't feel alone in theirs. But I also share my story so others can heal theirs. That's the point of all this. This is the point of trying to remain positive. All right? Number 4, the universe or source, whichever you prefer, totally supports every thought I choose to think and believe. I have unlimited choices, and what I think I choose. Balance, harmony, and peace, and I express it in my life. Okay, I think I kind of tripped over that one. The universe or your source, higher power, totally supports every thought I choose to think and believe. I have unlimited choices in what I think. About what okay, that's where I'm sorry, guys. Clearly, this is one that I struggle with. I'm going to try this one more time. The universe or your higher power totally supports every thought I choose to think and believe. I have unlimited choices about what I think. I choose balance, harmony, and peace, and I express it in my life. I actually play this game that I've been playing for about 4 or 5 years now, and my town's name is Balance. Because 5 years ago, I thought I had balance. Turns out, I was still trying to seek it. And it's kind of a game for me to seek and keep that balance. But somehow I'm doing it, and somehow I'm making it work. And when I shift in one direction, I take the time I need to kind of just level out again. So don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to take that self-care time. Tomorrow is actually Self-Care Wednesday, and number 13. But I now number 5. I now go beyond other people's fears and limitations. Do not let other people's fears and limited thoughts affect you. If you sit there and say, "Well, I'm going to go do this," and somebody says, yeah, like that's going to happen," don't listen to them. Okay, don't listen to them. I was watching a TV show yesterday, and the one of the best messages in it is that one friend went off to college, the other one stayed behind because undecided, right? And decided to pursue a music career. And the music career was not going all that great, but the friend, when they were in high school, always needed the person who was choosing in this moment not to go to college. Just spoiler alert, they ended up going to college. But in this interim, they didn't. And so she kept trying to force her into situations where her friend would need her. Because she was projecting her fear. She was projecting her limitations. Turns out they were both proud of each other. Because one was thriving, but they were both living their dreams. They were both doing well in what they wanted to do. Even though one might have been struggling, she was pursuing a dream. And that inspired the other one. They just didn't realize they were inspiring each other. So, but the other one had to kind of step back and say, "You know what? I'm sorry. I just, I'm used to you needing me all the time." And, I've done that. I have put my fears and limitations and projected them hard onto other people. Just because you feel like you want to be needed. You feel like you need to be needed. But here's a news flash. Okay? When people love and care about you, they're always going to need you. It may not be in the way that you want them to need you, but they like having your love in their life. They like having your friendship in their life. They like being your family member and just sharing these moments with you, even if they're few and far between, or even if it's just through text messaging every morning. They don't love you any less. These are your people. This is your tribe. You just have to trust that, you just have to trust and be there for them, just like you would expect them, and, trust that they would be there for you. All right. So choose the balance, the harmony, and the peace. Okay. Because trying to create scenarios by projecting your fears and limitations on other people is not going to work. And trying to find the balance, harmony, and peace when somebody's trying to project their fears and limitations on you is not going to work either. A lot of times that just turns to resentment. Okay. So the next one, I release all fears and doubts. My favorite. I release all fears and doubts. Have faith. Okay. You don't have to be religious to have faith, but have faith. Have faith that even though you cannot see what's on the next page, that it's going to work out for you as long as you keep things positive. You have to keep things positive. I know it can be hard. Trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me. I know how hard it can be. I really do. But again, last night I gave myself the same pep talk that I think I gave myself last week. And I reminded myself again, because I was just having this really good upbeat moment. And I thought to myself, you know what? All the negativity is not working out for me. I just need to keep pushing forward with this positive stuff. And the more I do that, the more I start to feel that inside of me. Like I said, the sea of bliss does not come without its ups and downs. There are still going to be storms out there. There are still going to be high walls of waves. But you are going to be better equipped to deal with them if you trust yourself, if you follow all of your intuitive thoughts, if you trust your spidey instinct. Your spidey instinct is the one thing in this world that is never going to lie to you. It's your inner compass. It is your inner guide. It's the one thing everybody's born with. And the majority of people choose to ignore, including myself, for a very long time. So tap into that. Just, when you tap into that, don't have judgment. Okay? You are exactly where you're meant to be, even if it doesn't feel like it. And if you don't feel like you are where you're meant to be, just appreciate the fact that you are where you are. Show it gratitude. If you're feeling stuck, show your situation gratitude, and it will probably start to change. Because you're not constantly thinking in stuck mode. You're starting to think of, I need to move forward mode. Okay? Remember that you are worthy. I am worthy of the ultimate happiness. Have gratitude, as we just discussed, even if it's something as small as a hot shower or music. People see those as being small things, but those are big things. Imagine all the people who don't get hot showers, who don't have access to music. Okay, or a warm roof, or a roof over their head when it's raining outside. I know that seems drastic to think of it that way, but think of it that way. Be grateful for what you have. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel ashamed about it. Just be grateful, okay? Take all that negative stuff out of there. And lastly, find some harmony. Find some harmony in your life. No judgment, joy, or no judgment, worthiness, and gratitude. They can all lead to harmony. Okay, remember, balance, peace, and harmony. There's a reason there's two in here, because they're in harmony with each other. They're in balance with each other. And if you look, they're both leaning, okay? They're both leaning into that little hand thing they're doing. They're holding each other up. If you move one of them's either going to lose their balance or they're going to fall straight over. Okay, so what is that telling you? This is what you need to have in your life, in your personal life. Balance. Get rid of the self-negative talk. It has not been serving you up until now. It will not serve you down the road. All right? And it is something that does not belong in the toolbox of self-love. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. If you're in a place where it is raining, enjoy. I shall be enjoying it. Take care of yourselves and just spend the day kind of watching how you talk to yourself, how you're, projecting and what you're projecting. And if you are having negative self-talk, if you're trying to beat somebody to the punch, like I tend to do, don't do it anymore. Because the only person you're hurting really is yourself. And I am telling you now that I see you. And I believe that you do deserve the ultimate happiness. That you are worthy of the ultimate happiness. That I'm worthy of the ultimate happiness. And when we get rid of the negative self-talk and we start opening ourselves to the possibilities of wonderful things, amazing things will start to happen. And you may not see it at first, but one day you'll look back and think, whoa, I didn't even realize how this chain of events just happened. Anything can happen if you let it. All right. That is a straight up song from the Mary Poppins Broadway show. That is one of the songs, and it's a great song. If you have any kind of music app across the board, anything can happen. I think in parentheses, if you let it. Look it up and listen to it, or just Google the lyrics. Just Google the lyrics. I mean, hello. It's right there. They're literally telling you, you can move mountains if you believe you can. All right. So again, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will see everybody here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have nothing planned, so definitely 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you for showing up, guys. I know I was a little late today, but just as a side note, my friend started college 6 years ago. I think she shifted majors at one point, but seeing her graduate and having watched her progress through Facebook this whole time has been absolutely amazing. She's done it with a full-time job, a kid, a husband. She's lost her fur baby along the way, but nothing stopped her. Nothing stopped her. She would fall apart. Well, I don't want to say fall apart, but she would break down when, on social media, just kind of looking for support when it was a bad day during school. And she did all this online, and today I got to see her across my screen with her degree in her hand and her degree listed underneath her. And I am so super proud. It is a high school friend of mine. She is absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of her. And again, I don't like to put an age on things, but she is in her 40s. So if you feel like you can't, she started and finished this in her 40s. Okay, so if you feel like it's too late for you, it's never too late for you. If you feel it's too late for you, that's an excuse. And I'm saying that to myself too, because I do that a lot. Oh no, I'm too old. I say negative self-talk, right? So stop it. If there's something you want to do it. Okay? Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Again, tomorrow, the Aloha Perspective, back here, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Facebook Live, under Shelley Marie Lucas. All lives are public. We do not need to be friends on Facebook for you to watch live. You can also catch the replay on YouTube or across the board on social media. I hope everybody has a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching.